Hi, how's everybody doing tonight? It's Scrap of 33. I've been doing vlogs about not a story, a real thing that happened to me, where I got in a fight with my brother, which escalated into the police being called upon me. Now, before that, I drank a beer that was in the backyard that set me out of my mind, basically, and then I got tased with one handcuff on. They thought I broke the handcuffs, but they didn't get the other cuff on my other hand. So I got tased. Um, some really weird shit happened during that hour, and the hour before that, they took me in an ambulance, and the ambulance ride was very suspicious and strange as well. They had 5 officers in there with me, and they said after they tased me and had me on a gurney that if all 5 officers didn't accompany me in the ambulance, they would all die. We'd all die. And I was like, why? What was little old me gonna do? So, ambulance ride took me to the Geauga Hospital in Ohio, and they before that they were wrapping me up in some kind of weird sheet. I don't know what the purpose was. They said don't kick out of this. I definitely was kicking out of it. And so they told them they were threatening, like, we got to do this, man. So I let them do it. I bit my tongue to make a scar, a timeline, change in the timeline, and bled on my tongue because there wasn't much I could do. And at that moment, I heard on the radio dispatcher, we got another one, cut that one loose, bring him in and go get him. It was during a thunderstorm, so there was all kinds of strange energies. So anyways, I get to the Geauga Hospital. I'm furious. They got me in restrictor cuffs with one arm back like this and the other like this on the gurney. And I got scars on my wrists. You probably can't see them. But they're definitely there. And right there's shit. Anyway, I'll show the scars later. But here's the taser scar. Right there. Okay, right under my heart. Tasered with the projectile prongs. Anyhow, get to the hospital, and they went and they put the serpentine cuffs on me that tighten if you resist, and it scarred me deeply. And when they locked it on me, all right, I heard them with their own words say, "Where'd the key go?" It went right into my skin. It went right into my body, which is one of the things I don't understand. And it baffled all the officers there. So that happened. And then they immediately injected me with Haldol, which is a heavy sedative. They did that 3 times through the night, and I kept coming out from it, seeing what they were doing to me. One I remember hearing them saying I was bleeding out of my ass, which I believe I was. I've had hemorrhoids, but I remember waking to that, and the whole damn staff of the hospital was there, and all the police officers. So the third time I awoke was a green light shooting out of my rectum, perpendicular, flowing to a rainbow spectrum produced by a machine in the hospital there. And this machine with the rainbow spectrum with all the colors was, pulling in my green light that they were siphoning out of me. And sure enough, here comes the nurse with the Haldol and inject into my wrist here, right into this vein. Saw her do it, and I was like, "Oh fuck! I guess I'm not gonna catch this part of the movie." So, and then I remember going from, because I'm mainly right side minded. I remember during this, I remember saying, "Enter the machine." I wrapped one toe around the bed frame of the gurney I was on. That was my only anchor to this reality, this realm. And I was in God's hands. I said, "How hard is it to enter to put a camel through the eye of God, through the eye of a needle, and enter with Him. And as soon as I questioned that, I pretty much saw, I felt this wave come over me and pull me into God, and keep me safe. So when I came to, I was practiced. I was dwelling on the left side of my mind, my brain, and I remember seeing in the reflection of the overhanging camera and everything they had around me, my left side of me, that part of my soul, resurrecting there, and hearing miracles being shouted that I came to. And so had a brief chat with some of the higher up officers talking about my military training. At that time, I was controlling the heart rate monitor. I was like, watch this, I'll make it go to this or that number. And sure enough, I was doing really weird shit. And then I heard they were going to let me out of these constraints. I was locked up in this torture for 12 hours, as far as I can remember, and not one drop of water. I wasn't completely naked. They cut the clothes off of me. Because I had a premonition shit wasn't right, so I put on this one length of rope, white rope, and I tied it around my belt, as a belt around my waist against my skin. They cut everything off of me. And before they knocked me out and had their way with me, I told them, like, you didn't get the belt. And thought I was nuts. And when I came to, I saw that one fine piece of rope was still with me, and went through hell and heaven and back. And I laughed at them, like, you guys fucked up. You didn't get my anchor. You didn't get my binding here. So they let that go, and they put 3 charges on me: resisting arrest, disturbing the peace, and I think even like an assault or something, because I did. I thought my brother was Peter Pan, or the Hook from Peter Pan. I was Peter Pan. I grabbed a stick and I was sword fighting with them. I got him in the mount position, and I was rapping him on the face with the stick just to be like, no. I didn't actually hurt him at all with it, but I was just being stern. Anyways, so where was I? Yeah, had a brief meeting talking to these guys. See, they asked how I got there. I was like, I took a shower with the wax bar and I drank some Pepsi, and whatever. But I heard they wanted to let me out. I was like, oh, they're getting. And then I heard get the serpentine cutters. And during the ambulance ride, I was morphing, and they were even saying out loud, I heard it. They're like, he's starting to like shift. And my hands were behind my back, handcuffed, and they were acting on their own accord. It was weird shit. So I was like, God, go get the serpentine cutters. I was like, I don't want them to cut my tail off or whatever the fuck they see. I don't know. And they just wanted to get the cuffs off of me. So I heard that. I was relieved. I turned my head to the right, and the 2 officers sat there wondering how to get me out of the cuffs, because the key was in my body. They knew that. He came right out of my body again, and they just didn't let me out. They brought me to the Geauga Psych Ward. Excellent food. Met a girl there I went on a date with. I did an awesome breakdance move that I have a scar from. Just a 8.8 step spin on your hands with your legs, and had some good food. I remember getting some like really warm chocolate milk. I had chlamydia for 3 years when this happened, and when they tased me, my heart almost exploded. I had to clench my fist, roll out of it, and tell them how I felt, or my heart would have blown up. So I'd get flicked in the double bird while being electrocuted, and I probably looked like Luke Skywalker getting tased by the Emperor. Fuck you! That was great. They didn't like that. They slapped another battery into the tase gun and tased me even longer. Anyways, so the Geauga Psych Ward was pleasant, and they gave me one pill that got rid of my chlamydia, because I was allergic to penicillin, and through the 3 years of having it, I didn't know that, so it never went away. And yeah, so that those are just details of the some of the story here. And they came to get me when the police came to get me because they had charges against me. When the elevator door shut after they put the handcuffs on me, it was all the same squad, all 5 of the same officers. And the door shuts. I'm in the middle of them. I turn around, the motherfucker tased me. I'm like, you guys gonna jump me again? And they're like, no, just be calm. Just be calm. It'll be okay. So I remember they cracked the window for me in the back of the cop car. I remember smelling the fresh air. And then I had bail money for myself. I orchestrated my family to get it together and get me out of there. And I was crying for tears of joy because I knew I was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And they had it out for me. That night I was abducted straight up. Don't know what happened, right off my couch in front of my brother. And it only lasted about a minute. It was very painful because it must have been some sort of elevation magnet that raised me through passing through all material walls. The physics as we know it. And then that was painful, and then the drop back down was not painful. But and when I came back down, I was like, Kenny, didn't you fucking see what happened? He was playing World of Warcraft in the same living room by the couch. But anyways, that was weird too. And what they wanted out of me when they abducted was air. They said, bring us more air. I don't know what the fuck that was about. So anyways, I didn't sleep at all that night. Went to court the next morning. Remember reading on the court ledger above the wall, we're in the waiting room before you see the judge, treat others as you would be treated. And at this point, I was all shook up, being animal, scared, wondering what the fuck just happened in my life. And with these charges against me, so instead of going in there all irritated, I went in there zen as fuck, was bowing, saying yes, and much respect. And the constable and the officers it was just me and the judge and those guys, the private meeting courtroom. And those guys were literally jumping around in disdain, saying how they can't believe that the judge was dropping all the charges. And they were just being, I don't know, were they out of order in court? Well, that was them. That was Yaga Chardon Police Force at their finest. And the lawyer who is friends with the judge, he offered me to defend me in the courts. I said, yeah, right. You guys want to lock me up. You guys are a good old boys club. You guys are together hand in hand. So I denied them, got a public defender, sweet lady, blonde, works in Chardon. Been my public defender before. Dropped every charge but resisting arrest, which they should have dropped that too. But they had to make an example or so the shit looked normal. And I understand that. So that's my story, and there's a lot more details. And this is when I was 24. I'm 32 now. It shook me up for years. I had such hate for the system. But during the process, they said something was put inside of me, and they were getting it out of me. So, I don't feel that type of way anymore towards these people or whatever their purpose was. I just am grateful that I'm still around to talk about it and question, what's out there and what's really going on. All right, Scrap of 33 out.